be a good father. And we study together, we eat together, and we do research together, and we write paper together. Hopefully, he enjoys the working with me. And yeah, in this talk, he's going to present cochlear implant using signal processing and machine learning techniques. And I'm sure that you will find he's a great patient and great achievements through this talk. And let us please join me to give to welcome Dr. Lai and his talk.
Thanks, Dr. Cao. My name is Hui Lai. It's my honor to have this opportunities to make this presentation to you. Today, the topic of my presentation is improvement of speech intelligibility for cochlear implant by the adaptive compression strategy and the deep learning-based noise reduction approaches. First of all, let us think about why hearing is so important for humor. In our life. In fact, hearing for humor, it plays a very important role, such as at learning, at safety, at social, and at work. However, when a person have a hearing loss problem and he or she will lose the audibility of the sound and affect the life quality and causing many inconvenient problems in his life. Helen Keller, she was the first deaf-blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree from Harvard University. She famously said, after a lifetime in silence and darkness led to be deaf, a great affliction than to be blind. Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people. So it proves again that hearing is so important in human's life. Next, let me brief to introduce our hearing system and the different kind of hearing impairment in peripheral system. What do you see in this picture, general called the ear? Actually, in view of anatomy, the ear can be divided into three parts: outer ear, middle ear, and the inner ear. When the sound around you, it will travel into the ear canal and hit the eardrum. And the acoustic energy will transfer to the mechanical phone and pass through the auricular chains. And the mechanical energy will fulfill cochlea. And in cochlea is a fulfilled space. And the neural signals are produced here and send this signal to our brain. And that's how we hear. However, problem in different part of the hearing will lead to different kind of hearing problem. When the problem happen in outer or middle ear, this kind of hearing loss we call is conductive hearing loss. And when the problem happen in inner ear hearing cell, this kind of hearing loss we call is sensory neural hearing loss. So far, sensory neural hearing loss for account 19% of hearing loss in clinical. Therefore, my research is focused on this kind of hearing loss and to provide some solution to help them hear well. And this slide further showing the structure of our cochlea. One of important organ called cortin in cochlea. It's cortin. It's a receptor organ for hearing, for transduction of auditory signal into nerve impulse action potential. More specifically, the cortex transduction the auditory signal into nerve impulse by the inner hearing cell and the three outer hearing cell to sense this signal, and this signal will send to our brain to produce the auditory. And this picture observed under the electron microscope, and it is a normal hearing. We can see there are three rows outer hearing cell and one row hearing cell in this encoding. And next is this picture is an example of hearing loss. We can see a lot of outer hearing cell or inner hearing cell damage. And in clinical, it will based on the degree of hearing loss to suggest the different hearing device to help subjects to improve the audibility when hearing threshold worse than 19 dB SPL. And the cochlea, if for example, if hearing loss individuals, the hearing threshold over the 19 dB hearing label, the cochlear implant could best the solution to help them hear well, hear the sound again. What is cochlear implant? Cochlear implant is a surgically implant device that provides a sense of a sound to a person who is a profound deaf of hearing in both ears. Cochlear implant bypass the normal hearing process. They have a microphone and some electrical circuit in speech processor, like in this part have a DSP and a microphone and some circuit in this part. And this part we call is external part. And next, this process signal will send this process signal into the internal part, into the electro array by magnet. So in this cochlea, this part we call is internal part. And then next, let me use a video that every audience to make it easy to understand the operation principle of cochlear implant.
The Maestro cochlear implant system has been developed for individuals affected by severe to profound sensory neural hearing loss. The Maestro CI system consists of an externally worn single-unit audio processor and an implant that is surgically placed onto the skin. The Rondo audio processor is held in place by magnetic attraction and can be worn comfortably under or over the hair. Sound signals are picked up by the microphone in the audio processor and sent to the implant. During the operation, the surgeon inserts an especially soft and flexible electrode array deep into the cochlea in order to stimulate a maximum number of nerve fibers. By inserting an electrode deep into the cochlea, an especially wide frequency range can be electrically stimulated. The non-functioning part of the cochlea is bypassed, and electrical pulses representing the sound signals are directly passed on to nerve fibers. The microphone of the audio processor picks up the sound signals. The audio processor digitally analyzes and codes sound into a special pattern of coded electrical signals. These coded signals are transmitted through the skin to the implant. The implant creates electrical pulses from the coded signals. These pulses are relayed to the corresponding electrode contacts along the electrode array, depending upon the frequency of the signal received. The hearing nerve receives these pulses and transfers them to the auditory cortex of the brain, where they are perceived as sound. The audio processor and the implant work together like an extremely fast miniature computer. They continuously process an immense amount of acoustic data, allowing the sound to be perceived naturally and in real time.
Okay, I think we see after this video, I think it's more easier and more clear for us to understand the operation principle of cochlear implant. And the next, let's ask a question why we can best select this electro array to help the CI user, this recipient, to hear the speech, understand speech and hear the speech again. Actually, the idea was come from the travel wave theory. The travel wave theory was proposed by Dr. Goyek, and he got the Nobel Prize in 1961. The travel wave theory tells us the set of maximal displacement of basal member depends on the frequency of stimulating tone, with high frequency causing maximal displacement near the base, and the low frequency causing maximal displacement near the apex. So in other words, the different area of cochlea will be response for different frequency to sense the signal to the brain. So that's when the hearing cell damage, we can use this electro array to stimulate corresponding area and to reconstruct the sound speech for CI recipient. And the next is the operation example of 4-channel implant in speech processor. First, the sound is picked up by the microphone and sent to the speech processor. The sound is then processed through a set of 4 bandpass filters and divide the acoustic signal into 4 channels. And the envelope of the filter wave are then extracted by the full wave rectifier to get the envelope information. And the low pass filter, and the next step is low pass filter. And next is a compression strategy to compress this envelope signal. And finally, we will use the pulse generator to code in this output envelope signal into a biphysical action potential to stimulate each different auditory nerve too. So that's the principle of speech processor. When the microphone pick up the sound, and it will do this step, and finally encoding to an electro impulse action potential to stimulate corresponding hearing an auditory nerve to produce the hearing for CI recipient. And in this stage, the compression is so important in this signal processing. Why we need the compression in conventional speech? The acoustic amplitude may vary with a wide dynamic range, like a 13 to 15 dB acoustic dynamic range. But for the implant listening, however, may have a dynamic range as small as 5 to 15 dB electrodynamic range. In order to highlight this issue, so we need a compression approach to compress this acoustic amplitude into residual electrodynamic range. So that's the reason why in speech processor we need this compression stage to highlight this problem. And so far, the SEC strategy is well known and wide used in compression. Is a well-known compression strategy in speech processor. It's based on the loudness Gaussian function to make the cochlear implant recipient's loudness perception match as possible as match a normal hearing. And the idea of SEC is very simple. When the envelope come in, and it will calculate the mean value first, and it will based on this scaling factor, which set by the audiology or data to set this scaling factor to compress and control this wire and acoustic envelope into an electrodynamic range, and let the electrodynamic range in the residual electrodynamic range. And however, due to there are fixed parameters, hence it cannot based on the characteristic of speech to adjust this scaling factor adaptively. So in other words, even the input speech is not over the residual electrodynamic range. A small scaling factor sitting be used in the conventional SEC strategy. And a small scaling factor used, well, what problem if we always use a small scaling factor for CI recipient? A small scaling factor used will reduce the dynamic range of temporal information. And from previous study indicated that temporal envelope with a small dynamic range result in poor speech recognition performance in both consonant and vowel recognition performance. Poor recognition in consonant and vowel. While it's a lot, if we can use a large dynamic range, that means we can use the higher scaling factor, then it could provide higher modulation deep information for cochlear implant user and improve the interoperability score. So next, let me show an example and let us direct to hear the effect of scaling factor. First, its assumption is an enhanced speech.
它的乒乓球打得非常好。
Okay. And the next is processed by 8-channel tone vocoder. Why we need to use tone vocoder to process it? Because we want stimulate what cochlear implant recipient hear. So next is tone vocoder result. Let's try again. It's an original
它
speech,
的乒乓球打得非常好。
and it's before tone vocoder. Okay, I think we also can understand this sentence. 它的乒乓球打得非常好. But this example is without any compression strategy. But next, we use a compression strategy like SEC to compress the dynamic range to 10 dB, and the result will like this one. So let's try again. It's without compression. And it's processed by compression. So I think from this example, we can see and we can feel the compression strategy will reduce the benefit of modulation information and afraid a lot of benefit of speech interpretability for CI recipient. So most recently, our lab proposed a new approach to try to highlight this issue, and we call this approach as adaptive envelope compression strategy, AEC. The AEC approach can guarantee the output envelope in electrodynamic range, and as possible as to increase the scaling factor to increase the modulation depth information of speech for CI recipient to enhance to help them hear well. So the flowchart of AEC is shown in this slide. Actually, it's very simple and similar to SEC. It's similar to SEC, but we added a feedback path. So when the out envelope information, we will based on this information to calculate the two boundary. We use the boundary check to know, okay, at this moment, the upper bound and lower bound, the single dynamic range of upper bound and lower bound. And the next, based on this information, and we based on this information and the AEC rule to decide the delta alpha. This delta alpha is will be positive or negative. It's all based on the input signal to decide it. So based on this idea, we will adaptive this scaling factor frame by frame to adjust this scaling factor, and as possible as provide higher scaling factor for cochlear implant to help them improve their interpretability. So the idea is very simple and easy. So next, we based on this idea doing some clinical trial to test the performance of this AEC approach. So we do some three study. First, study one is the research question is, does the interpretability performance of AEC is better than conventional SEC strategy in stationary and non-stationary noise condition? So okay, this is an example of amplitude envelope processed by A, that means is in the same test condition is processed by AEC, and B is in the same test condition processed by SEC strategy. We can see in the same test condition and in the same noise type, and the AEC not only control the output envelope information into this residual dynamic range, but also can provide higher modulation depths than conventionally SEC approach. So that means if we this noisy synchronous process by these two different compression strategy, it will provide different interpretability performance for CI recipient. So we won't answer this question, so we recruit 9 subjects in this study to doing the clinical trial to test is possible. The proposed AEC can provide higher interpretability than conventional SEC. And we can, from this result, we can see the black bar is a proposed AEC approach, and the white bar that's a conventional SEC strategy. And the white that means speech interpretability score. If we get high score, that means this approach can provide better performance than the other one. So from this result, we can see on average, the AEC strategy can provide higher interpretability score than conventional SEC in noisy condition. And the next, we do the other study to test the performance. Study 2, the study question is, does the AEC can improve the interpretability performance compared with conventional SEC strategy in reverberation noise condition? So in this study, we also doing some clinical trial to test the AEC performance. In this study, we recruit 8 subjects in this study and to compare the conventional SEC and AEC. So this slide shows the mean score of these 8 subjects. From this result, we can see the mean score of AEC also can provide higher interpretability than conventional SEC strategy. So the question 2, research study 2, the question 2, the answer is yes, true. And the question 3 is the other study we want to, research question is, does the AEC can maintain the benefit of front-end signal processing? Noise front-end signal processing such as noise reduction or speech enhancement. Noise reduction and speech enhancement is an important and essential signal processing in speech processor. So we want to show if we propose AEC conjunction with the speech enhancement, is possible to maintain or maintain the benefit of front-end signal process, front-end noise reduction approach, the benefit of front-end signal processing. So we do the study 3 to answer this question. So in this study, we recruit 11 subjects into this study to test the performance. Okay, in this study, we use 2 unsupervised noise reduction. First is Wiener filter, the other is KLT. And in the same test condition and in the same speech enhancement, but we use different compressions to conjunction with different compression strategy to test the performance. So from this result, we can see the X also, Y that means the mean score of interpretability. If we get high score, that means, okay, the performance is well than the lower one. So X that means indifferent input SNR label. Now A that means the speech under the SSN speech shape noise type, and B that means speech under the two-talk bubble noisy condition. Let us see the result. One of the result we can see the black bar that means Wiener filter conjunction with the conventional SEC, and this bar is Wiener filter conjunction with AEC. From this result, we can see in the same speech enhancement, but we use different compression strategy for CI recipient. It will provide different interpretability performance, and the proposed AEC can provide higher interpretability performance than conventional SEC. So quick research question 3, the answer is yes, true. And the next, we want to say, actually, I want to know the AC just use to over the compression problem of conventional SEC. It's not a noise reduction approach. And for the cochlear implant, from past 3 decades, a lot of novelty technique used in cochlear implant, and try to help cochlear implant to hear well, improve their life quality. However, more recently, one of study report indicator, this novelty technique has enabled many CI users to enjoy high level of speech understanding in quiet. However, the performance of speech understanding in noisy setting remains challenging. So, in order to handle this issue, the noise reduction is well used in speech processor. Noise reduction is an essential part of model CI speech processor for improved sound quality in noisy conditions. The well-known noise reduction, such as KLT, local MMSC, winner filter, or others, like the clean voice or others, noise reduction. And this well-known noise reduction is widely used in speech processor. And more recently, Chen et al. To test this well-known single microphone noise reduction approaches, and the results show that this noise reduction approach provides benefit for CI user. However, on average, the speech interpret score is less than 60 dB percentage. Therefore, we think the new noise reduction approach should be used in speech processor to help they improve the interpretive performance. So we drive a deep learning-based noise reduction approach called deep denoisy autoencoder to improve the benefit of speech interpretability under a noise reduction. This DDA approach was proposed by Lu and Chao in 2013. And this figure illustrates the structure of the DDAE-based noise reduction approach, which consists of two phases. In training phase, a set of noisy clean speech pair is prepared. And the noisy clean speech signals are first converted into the log power spectrogram features. And next, then the MMSE criteria be used to search this parameter of this DDA model. This DDA model is deep neural network architecture. So we based on this MMSE criteria to search and train to get the optimal parameter of this model. And the objective function is showing this slide. The X hat last mean enhanced speech, and the X last mean the clean speech. We want to minimize the error, so to find the theta, to minimize this, so to find the theta, to find the best parameter of W in this DDAE model. So next, when we finish the training phase and obtain the mapping function of DDA model between the noisy and the clean, and in testing phase, we use this mapping function to transfer the noisy speech to clean speech directly. So next, let me show an example of let us hear an example of the process signal between the DDA and the conventional noise reduction in challenge listening in bubble noise condition. First, this one is clean speech.
他刚才讲话时吞吞吐吐。
And this one is background noise.
长期合作，保护环境，人人有责。
Okay, when we mix together like this one,
长期合作，保护环境，人人有责。
it's very difficult for us to know which sentence is speech. And the next, let's try conventional noise reduction and the result like this one. Hey, excuse me.
长期合作，保护环境，人人有责。
We can see the conventional noise reduction is not very useful to remove the background noise. And the next is processed by DDAE.
他刚才讲话时吞吞吐吐。
Okay, let's try again. It's original noisy speech.
长期合作，保护环境，人人有责。
And the processed by DDAE.
他刚才讲话时吞吞吐吐。
Okay, next, let me show the other kind of background noise. And next, let us try the silence background noise like this one.
他不小心把茶杯碰翻了。
It's the original noisy speech. And the next is processed by the other well-known noise reduction KLT.
他不小心把茶杯碰翻了。
We can hear that it's not very useful too. And the next processed by DDAE.
他不小心把茶杯碰翻了。
Okay, from these two examples, we can feel the DDA can provide powerful capability to remove the background noise and keep the sound quality. So based on this idea, first we doing some objective testing to test the performance of DDA approach. So we adopt the NtuEE70th benchmark to test the performance of interoperability between DDAE and the two conventional noise reduction. For the NtuEE70th, the maximum score is 1 and the minimum score is 0. So if you get the higher score, that means this approach can provide higher interoperability for user than lower one. So from this result, we can see on average, the DDAE approach can provide a higher score. X, that means the input SNR is different in different input SNR, and the Y, that means interoperability score. From this result, we can see on average, DDA always can provide higher interoperability performance than the other two conventional noise reduction approach. And the next, we also use the other kind of benchmark, NCM, to predict the interoperability performance too, and the result is similar to NtuEE70th. So next, we based on this idea to doing a clinical trial, and this study we cooperate with Zhenxing Hospital. So we based on this the idea of DDA, the noisy signal will pre-processed by this DDA approach first, and the enhanced speech will ask the input of the speech processor, and based on this speech processor to coding the corresponding action impulse signal into the cochlea to stimulate the audio nerve to test the performance. So in this study, we recruit 7 real cochlear implant subjects to test the performance. And the next, let us see this slide shows an example of output envelope of cochlear implant. The envelope will extract from the channel of 918 kHz in electro array, and it's compressed to 10 dB. And let us see in this column is that means the speech under the two-talk bubble. And the A is clean speech envelope, and the B is noisy speech envelope. And the next, this noisy speech was processed by local MMSE and the KLT approach. And this is processed by DDAE. And this color lets me under the other kind of background noise, CJ contraction noise. From this result, we can clear to see the DDA can provide efficiently performance to remove the background noise. You see, this is original noise speech, but after DDA, it can remove it and compare with clean. And this part is the same too. So from this result, we can see the DDA not only provide powerful capability to remove the background noise, but also as possible as keep the speech information. Like this part is the original speech envelope, but it's noisy speech. And the next is processed by the two conventional noise reduction. We can see, okay, this envelope information be distorted by these two speech enhancement. But DDA can maintain this information than these two approach. Can provide better performance than these two approach. So next is show the mean score of this result. This slide show the mean score of these 7 CI subjects. in different test conditions, like a two-total bubble at the 0 dB SNR label, and the construction background noise under the 5 dB SNR label. And the wireless means score of interpretability. If you get the high interpretability score, that means this approach can provide a better performance than the other one. So on average, we can see at least 4 different noise type and the SNR label. The DDA approach can provide better performance than the other three test conditions, 3 process methods, and have a significant difference. So this conclusion in this cochlear study is, first, the modulation depth of speech is one of important factors for CI user to understand speech. And the AEC can provide more benefit of modulation depth and conventionally SEC strategy to CI recipient, and the AEC can efficiently keep benefit of front-end signal processing. And the 3 is DDAE process envelope perform better capability to remove the background noise and keep the modulation depth information of speech than conventional noise reduction process. So this result suggests the AEC and the deep learning-based noise reduction could potentially be integrated into a CI processor to overcome the speech perception degree caused by the noise. So that's the main the conclusion of this talk. And the next, please let me take a couple minutes to introduce the other project in our lab. And this project is focused on the hearing aids. I just brief to introduce this project. Actually, a user of hearing aids is higher than cochlear implant, maybe over 1,000 times. So for the marketing, the hearing aids is larger than cochlear implant. And for the cochlear, when you are hearing loss under the 19 dB hearing level, most people will not choose the cochlear implant, and they will choose the hearing aids. And so far, there are 4 typical types of hearing aids, like this one: BT, behind the ear, ICT, receiver in the ear, or CIC and the body aid. And so what the novelty of our project, our lab, our team in this project, the idea is we won't let this function into mobile phone. It's possible to move this function of hearing aids into mobile phone. This picture was took from Peter Square in 2005. And we can see don't have many mobile devices on people's hand. But after 8 years, the same place, we can see a lot of mobile devices be used. It's said there's no question that mobile device technique has crept far more deeply into everyday life. Mobile devices have a lot of advantage to as a hearing aid because it provides more higher computing power and it's multi-sensor. It have a multi-sensor like a mobile phone have a camera, have a GPS and wireless communication. So it's more. So that's in other words, it can provide more benefit for hearing aids user. So based on this idea, our team proposed 2 apps in mobile phone. The first one we call it all-in-one hearing aid system. The all-in-one hearing aid system can compensate and process the input sound signal to help hearing loss individuals hear well in real-time process. And it's based on the headset of microphone to receive the sound and process by your mobile phone CPU and then output to the hearing aid user through the earphone. And there are 6 key functions of technique in this app. First, when we design this app, we very carefully to calculate the electroacoustic, the characteristic of electroacoustic function. So we use the schema and the sound booth to carefully to calculate the output label and the acoustic label and the electro label. And the two, in this app, we have the feature two is this app can test your pure tone threshold under a noisy condition. Why we need it? Because hearing aids is a customized device. It needs based on your hearing threshold to suggest the amplified gain. So we need based on users' hearing threshold to provide the different frequency amplified gain. So in this app, we have this feature. We can, under a noisy condition, to test your pure tone threshold. And the next, we have some benefit assessment and noise reduction approach in this app. And 5 and 6, that means the key feature is we have we have a compensate fitting strategy that considered based on the characteristic of Mandarin and the novelty amplified scheme. We call it AWDRC amplified architecture in this app. So in this app, we have this 6 feature in this app. And the next, we also provide the other kind of app in mobile phone. We call it Smart Here. The purpose of this app is quite different, very different compared with all-in-one system. The purpose of this Smart Here, the app of Smart Here is want to overcome the distance problem. For example, when a speaker when a student sits in the class and he is very far away to the teacher speak well. When teacher speaks something and the energy of speech will decay because due to the distance. So this app, we want to overcome this problem. So we use the Bluetooth microphone and to catch up a teacher's voice and based on some wireless technique to transmit this speech or signal into user's mobile phone. And in this mobile phone, we have some customized amplifier scheme and signal processing in this app, and to help user hear well. So in this app, we briefly introduce in this app, we have 2 communication way. First is use the Bluetooth, and the other one is through the wireless communication. And the next, please let me show a video and let you every audience to more easier to understand this app.
Today we will be talking about grassland protection. Did anybody find any references? Today we will be talking about grassland protection. Did anybody find any references? Today we will be talking about grassland protection. Did anybody find any references?
let's our design the other app smart here. So finally, in short summary, in this project, we propose two apps in mobile phone. First is all-in-one hearing system, and the other one is called a Smart Hear. And we think these two apps sitting have a room to improve for user, and have a lot of room to can improve. So we think we can add a lot of based on a lot of novelty technique in speech to go together, such as this novelty technique, such as machine learning based signal processing and the positive feature and automatic speech recognition functions, or sound event recognition, or behavior signal processing, or other novelty signal processing approach can join these two apps, and we hope we can let these two apps better and better, and finally to help a lot of hearing loss individuals to improve their life quality and help them hear well. So that's my presentation. Thanks for your listening.
So are there questions? Yes. Regarding about DDAE, that technology apply to the CI devices, or so I mean, so we can use the deep learning autoencoder model in embedded device, or that will need another cloud services.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. So far, I think for the the device of speech processor, so far they cannot implement the DDA approach in the speech processor now. But I think because it's a new single process idea, so I think in the future it's possible implement in the embedding system, because I think we're new single DSP chip to handle this problem, this architecture. Yeah. Thanks.
So are there, okay.
The performance of your autoencoder is quite impressive. I was wondering, the training condition. What is the training condition? I mean, is it trained for a speaker dependent, noise type dependent, or is for general condition?
Okay, so far it's training noise dependent. It's a match condition training. But recently we also tried a mismatch condition, and so far the result also can provide a good performance than conventional, can provide better performance than conventional noise reduction. But recently we're doing some mismatch project. Yeah, so this result is match condition. Yeah, thanks.
So are there any questions? Okay.
Oh, okay. Speak independent. In the real application situation, it means you can only use it to specific speakers. Yeah, I think so far we can use ensemble model to based on some. First, maybe we can use a speaker recognition to choose which sub neural network can be used to help them to handle this problem. But now, you mean yeah? But I think in real application, we will design a lot of sub neural network, and based on the speaker recognition or event recognition to choose the best transfer function, the mapping, the DDAE model for users. Yeah, and the other idea is we will based on some adaptation to adapt this model of DDAE and to handle this issue. Yeah.
Okay, I think we can have one more question. Okay, so if there's no question, let's thank the Dr. Lai again for his talk.
Thanks.
And we have prepared a gift for you.
And now is the closing for today's workshop. And I want to take this opportunity to express my thanks to Dr. Cao Yu and Professor Jiang and Dr. Lai for sharing their experience about organizing workshops, so I can stand in on the shoulder of the giant. And I have to express my most sincere thanks to all the members of the NtuEE Speech Lab. They work very hard and plan very long time with me to organize this workshop. I have to special thanks to Shen Xun. He's an excellent designer, and the back of this workshop, the poster, the flag, and the banner are all designed by him. And I want to give my special thanks to Tong-En. She managed almost everything of this workshop. We cannot have this workshop without her. So please give them a big hand. Thank you very much. So this is the end for today's workshop. Thank you very much for participating in this workshop. And the next speech procession workshop will be at Tsinghua University. So see you next year in Tsinghua University. Thank you very much. Thank you.